Alright, so, before I go into this profile, I need to give credit where credit is due. This Shivamon list came to me courtesy of the one and only super wonderful Green Master himself, Max Tapera. This list is not my design in any capacity. This is a list that Max personally DM'd me. This is his Shiva list that he was using. He had been playtesting Shiva for a while. He sent me one list, and then when he made adjustments, he sent me the updated list. Every time he sent me a list, he told me Shiva sucks. I saw him play Shiva on stream. Shiva lost him games. He resents Shiva now, and I cannot wait to tell him that Shiva just won an event. His Shiva list just 4-0'd an event, which is crazy, and won me a playmat. So, huge shout out to Max Tapera for making this deck list. I made no modifications yet. I typically, whenever he sends me deck lists, I will play it as is, and then make adjustments as need be. But I've not been playing this list long enough to be ready to make adjustments yet. So, this is his list. Completely. So, let's go through it. We're going to start with the eggs. So, the eggs is 4 BB and an Argo. So, the first list that he sent me, this was actually flipped. He was running 4 Argo, 1 BB. I could absolutely justify that. I think gaining that extra memory off Argo on Suspend is really good sometimes. It's really good in the stack. Like, if I have a shack where it's Argo, Climbmon, Shiva, I'm trashing the top card, suspending something of theirs, and gaining a memory. Especially if Mimi's already setting me to 3. Starting my turn at 4 is super sick. So every now and then I love seeing this card. But at the end of the day, I think BBmon just helps me out more right now with the format. It's really not hard to swing over Shiva if Shiva's not big enough. For Shiva to comfortably survive, I like to have her at least 14 or 15k, and BBmon helps me get there. Also, obviously, the inherited effects of a couple other Digimon in this deck. But I think overall BB is a little bit better than Argo. I don't know if I'm going to keep it this number forever. I might switch it around, experiment with like a 3-2. But for now, this egg roster suits me just fine. So those are the eggs. Moving on to the level 3s. We are running 12 rookies. The first is 4 copies of Palmon. Palmon's really good if you want to be able to swing over something that might be a little bit bigger than Shiva. In the case that it is suspended. And they haven't already swung for Shiva. Or when Shiva, everything else unsuspends, Shiva loses all of its buffs. So this is a good way to give it a little buff back. So whenever we swing into an opponent's Digimon, it's going to get plus 2k for the turn, inheritable. I can't tell you how many times that's like helped me out dramatically with just being able to kill the big threats to Shiva. So I really enjoy having this card at 4. Out of all the cards in this deck, the rookies are the ones that I would fuck around with the least. Except for one thing, which I will tell you guys in a bit when we get to it. After that, we're running 4 copies of Pulsemon. Pulsemon is one of the many Digimon that gives us the inheritable effect of gaining 1000 DP all turns for each of our suspended Digimon. Which stacks up quick and just makes Shiva huge. Makes it really hard to remove Shiva, especially paired with some of the level 4s and some of the level 5s. Like, there's a God stack that just makes Shiva completely you just can't swing over Shiva. So Pulsemon is one of the guys that does that, and it's really good having this in the stack. In our last rookies, we're running 4 copies of Terrier. I've never run more than 2 Terrier before, so it's weird seeing it at 4. I normally just evolve over Terrier a lot, or I end up losing a lot of Terriers, so at times it does feel pretty good to run 4, but if I had to make any rookie adjustments, I'd probably cut to 2 or 3. Comfortably 3, but manageably 2. But right now I do like it at 4 just to guarantee that it's a little bit easier for me to get. I can throw it on field with level 5 Argo's effect, get it suspended so it gives buffs to Shiva, and stops him from hitting memory or gaining memory with non-tamer effects. So I do really enjoy this right now, but again, not so sure I need it at 4. Those are all the rookies. Running 12 of those. Moving on to the level 4s. In my opinion, best level 4 in the deck is 4 copies of Namakemon. I genuinely think this is the best card in the best rookie in the deck. Not rookie, the best level 4 in the deck. So Namake can just suspend himself as his main effect. Lets me search the top 3 cards, get a Digimon. He is one of my best digging supports if I need to get to something. And the fact that he suspends himself helps me make sure that Shiva can proc. So Namake is an invaluable source in this deck. Easily, in my opinion, the best level 4 in the deck. We are running 4 copies of Exermon. Another really good one. This is also going to give me the inherited buff plus 1k on all turns for every suspended Digimon I have. Helps me swing higher. Helps me defend higher. Exermon also has the effect of allowing me to suspend one of my Digimon when Digivolving to suspend one of their Digimon. It either just allows me to have everything suspended or allows me to suspend something of theirs and swing over it. Clear their board a little bit. Because when I'm playing Shiva, my strategy is typically to just let Shiva do its job. I don't swing into security unless I'm swinging for game or unless I absolutely have to in order to suspend something and ensure everything I have is suspended. But Exermon is a really great way. You can even suspend it with no targets just to have it come in suspended and make sure that Shivamon can proc. And then the last level 4 we're running is 4 copies of Kogamon. Inheritable Retaliation is fine. It occasionally discourages people to not swing over Shiva. However, I'm not so sure about this. There might be something better. I was thinking of throwing in like a Weedmon or something, just because the 2 Digivolution costs is sometimes a little high. Like, these all Digivolve for 2. So sometimes I need something that can just Digivolve for 1 if my opponent chokes me. Like, I can't Zorp comfortably every single time because, you know, Pistamon Zorps for 1. So makes it a little bit difficult. But in terms of just being relatively vanilla, Koga does fine. We'll see if we get any more support anywhere else in future sets, or if I can just find something that I think would just work better. But for now, I think Koga is not too bad. 12 level 4s. That'll do it for that. Moving on to the level 5s. 4 Pistamon. Pistamon is yet again, I think, the last one that has the inheritable all turns plus 1k for each of my suspended Digimon. It's good just to have Zorpers. I was originally debating how good this is and if it would really matter if I just swapped it for Blossoms, but the inherited effect really saves me sometimes. It really does. Like, I just want that stack. I just want the stack to go up and Shivamon just get as fat as possible. And Pistamon helps me do that. So I don't think I'm going to end up replacing Pistamon. I might cut it and run like a Blossom. So I'll cut one of these, run 3 of these, and a Blossom, and the Argo, and those will be my Zorpers. But for now, this is great. This is working for me just fine. Arguably the best level 5 in the deck, arguably. 4 copies of Climon. This lets us bounce a lot of shit, which is awesome. When Digivolving, if this Digimon suspended, which we can almost guarantee it will be, by plenty of effects, return one of your opponent's suspended Digimon with DP less than or equal to this Digimon's DP. So this is base 8. Inherited effects do matter and stack there. So if we put him onto a stack and he suddenly has all these buffs and he's 10 or 11k, we can bounce something huge potentially. But either way, like, we were able to bounce a lot of Paildramons, we were able to bounce a lot of Stingmons, Lydramons, Magna. We were able to bounce a lot of shit today. And then Clymon's inherited effect is also just kind of cracked. When this Digimon becomes unsuspended during your unsuspend phase, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. As soon as Shiva unsuspends, we tap something of theirs. We can swing right over it. It's sick. Really, really good thing to see. Sucks it doesn't Zorp, otherwise it would be absolutely cracked. But for now, it's pretty fucking good. And then our last level 5 is level 5 Argo. Just a free Zorper. Lets us put bodies on the field. He's just super good. Always going to wish he wasn't limited, but he is, and with good reason. So that's 9 level 5s. Now the star of the show. 4 copies of Shiva. Has to be 4. It has to be 4. I love this card. I just do. While all of your Digimon are suspended, your opponent can't use options. Crazy. They just have... That completely chokes the amount of ways they have to get rid of Shiva. And every time Shiva unsuspends at the beginning of your turn, it trashes the top card of their security stack. So many times tonight, I was able to get 2 Shivas on board and just decimate. Felt so good. They would go for, like, Mega Death. I'm like, nope, can't do that. Memory Boost. Can't do that. It's so sick. The only downside is, obviously, this is an opponent's turn effect, and even if it wasn't, security effects aren't them playing, it's just activating an effect. Same way that if they already have a boost on the field, they can pop the boost to gain the memory. So the card's not incredibly cracked, but if you can control well enough, like every time I play green, I have to play control. I play it as if I'm just playing a regular control deck. Instead of swinging into security, I'll do what I can to suspend their mons, swing over their mons, clear their board. Just do what I can, and most of the time they just don't have a response. So Shiva's super sick. It's crazy. It's crazy how underrated this card is. It's super killable, again, if you don't have the right stack. So make sure you have the right stack, really. And don't fucking misplay here. Don't drop a rookie in past turn. You have to have all your Digimon suspended. All of them. I fucked that up so many times. Luckily not tonight, but it happens. It happens. Just be careful. It does leave the rest of your team a little vulnerable, but honestly, if you control the board right, you should be fine, and Shiva should win you games, no problem. And, you know, just because this card is also super cracked, you're playing 3 copies of Nidhogg. Nidhogg's really great at clearing boards. We have a couple different ways. We have a very decent amount of ways to suspend their Digimon, and we can just clear boards with Nidhogg, potentially. Like, they pull stuff out with Imperial, we can clear it with Nidhogg. They pull stuff out with Mastamon. Most of the time, we can clear it with Nidhogg. Like, I was playing Max's Nidhogg control list in BT5. I still play it occasionally. I played it at the beginning of the format just because it was countering most of the format. And Nidhogg still kind of does that. Sometimes it's hard to get into him. It's hard giving up so much memory. It's hard giving up a stack and going into Nidhogg instead of another Shiva. But ultimately, I think Nidhogg has its occasions where it is definitely worth it. 7 level 6s. Moving on, we're running 3 Tamers, 3 copies of Mimi. That's it. She's really good. Obviously, we need a setter. Mimi is, in my opinion, the best green Tamer. No question about it. Lets us hatch eggs if we have a level 5 or higher. Or if we already have something in raising, we can also suspend Mimi in order to raise something level 3 or higher. Like anything put in raising and raised with Mimi in the same turn is not affected by summoning sickness. We can tap it right away. We can swing with it. We can use it to activate effects. We can Zorp with it. Mimi is an invaluable resource in helping us actually do shit, especially because, again, all of our level 4s are 2-cost evolutions. So we need as much memory as we can. Speaking of as much memory as we can, we're also playing 3 copies of Green Mem Boost. Another great way to dig. I've whiffed a few times today. I whiffed on a lot of 4s, whiffed on a lot of 5s, and in the last tournament I played, I whiffed on 3s a lot. So being able to dig with Green Memory Boost, being able to dig with Namake, very important. Super good card. Helps us reach a little bit further. Like if we go with Mimi, we'll set to 3, pop the boost, go to 5. We can Nidhogg keep it our turn if we already have a 5 on board. Really good card. Considering cutting to 2, I don't know what I would cut to 2 yet, what I would cut to 2 for yet, but right now I'm happy with this at 3. I find them a lot more often. They hit security a lot more often. Really good card to have. After that, we are running 3 copies of Samadhi Santi. I really wish that this was at 4. In the first build that Max sent me, this was at 4, and I loved it. It's sad that it has to be at 3. This might be one of the things that I'm considering swapping a Mem Boost for, putting in another Samadhi. Helps us suspend our things, and lets us suspend their things. Samadhi has the ability to suspend one of their Digimon or one of their tamers, which is disgusting. And what makes it even more disgusting with a 1-cost option card is that that card, whether it be a Digimon or a tamer, can't unsuspend until the end of their turn, which is gross, which is super, super good. I love this card. It feels bad, but it feels like a Flower Cannon alternative that's worth it, because Flower Cannon just suspends their stuff and it costs 2. This only costs 1 and also suspends our stuff, which sometimes sucks, but most of the time it's what we want anyway. Like, I've played Samadhi to tap one of my guys with no targets on their side. No Digimon, no Tamers, nothing. And that's just something you can do. And sometimes it's just worth it. Hitting this in security can also save you. It suspends one of their Tamers or Digimon. Just a really nice card to see. A great way to suspend one of our things if we can't suspend it naturally ourselves and we don't want to swing into security for risk of death. And the final card in the deck is obviously 1 copy of HPD. Hidden Potential discovered lets us go into free Shiva, lets us go into free Nidhogg, lets us suspend stuff just to go into anything. Like in the winning game, I used HPD, suspended Shiva, to go Exert into Climbmon for free. Like, use it for anything. It's an invaluable resource. Don't feel like you're wasting it. It's really good to see this card. It's really bad to see it like when Mill's at the bottom, because we have a lot of things that will put cards to the bottom, like search with Namake, search with fucking Green Mem Boost. But obviously, if you're playing green, why would you not play an HPD? Just why? It makes no sense. Like, HPD's cracked. It's limited for a reason. And that will do it for our Shivamon deck profile. I'm really surprised, but also really happy with the way things turned out tonight. This was such a cool way to get our first win. Shivamon, really? That's awesome. Everyone said it's mid to low tier. I feel like I'm finally getting the hang of piloting this deck. I did misplay a few times tonight, as I thought I would, but ultimately I had a really fun time. It was a super good tournament, and I can't wait to tell Max that I just won a tournament with his Shiva build. He said Shiva sucks, I'm gonna make him take it back. Anyway, that's the profile. Hope you guys enjoyed this tournament. I hope you guys were entertained. And we'll see if we can top again next time.